welcome to the third episode of Hey Look Yarn, the Rocket City Yarn podcast. I'm Lisa and I am Rocket City Yarn. Now, if you've watched the first two episodes, you're probably like, this doesn't look quite the same. And no, it doesn't look quite the same because it's been really noisy with the summer and the kid being here and the husband around more, and it's been really hard to kind of podcast from my kitchen table, which is where I have been podcasting. So I decided to squeeze into my studio and podcast from here. So you're probably going to see a little bit more mess than usual, and I apologize for that, but I think it'll be better due to the quality of the sound. Now, I am going to first say I have just got back from my very first Stitches. I went to Stitches United in Atlanta this past weekend, and I had the best time ever. So before I talk about anything else, this is kind of going to be a special podcast because I'm really just going to talk about the Stitches and all the things we did there. So the first thing I want to show you, let me grab it, is my Stitches program book. So this is the book that they give you that talks about all the different things in the market and cool things to see. And one thing I wanted to mention is that this Stitches, because Stitches United has quilting and sewing and a lot of things, not just yarn and fiber things. So there's a lot of things. This is a picture of the diagram of the marketplace. So before I go crazy with the shopping and all the things that I bought, because I tried to stay in budget, but it was hard. First, I'm going to talk about some of the events and things that I got to do while I was there. So the first thing, when I got there on Thursday, is I signed up for my first in-person First in-person class on brioche basics with Gwen Bortner. So I'm not going to show too much detail because this is her special book that she gives in her classes, but I just wanted to go over. So she went over different ways to do brioche and how to decipher and patterns, because there's kind of two main ways to do it, and the way they write the abbreviation and patterns is a little confusing, and so she kind of went over how to recognize what they're talking about when they write the different abbreviations and which method they're referring to, and she went over all those different cool things, and so I look forward to trying that out in my next project. So that was awesome. It was definitely interesting to take an in-person class because I've mostly done YouTube, and I hadn't really had a chance to kind of ask questions and do kind of correct things right there on person. And so I think that is, for something hard like brioche, I think having a class on it is really beneficial. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was the fashion show. Okay, so that was Friday evening, I think around 6 o'clock, and I had signed up for it. And so it's really pretty. They have all of the models come down and show the beautiful patterns, and then you get to go through, and they have the names really nicely written in the little program, so you can kind of check off the ones you really are interested in knitting and mark like which ones are knitting, which ones are crochet, which ones you really liked. And I loved that because I've kind of been a little in I wouldn't say a slump, but just I wanted to kind of really plan something different for my next project, and that fashion show really gave me some neat ideas. One thing I wanted to point out in the fashion show, because it was quite nice, was there was this bag company. Let's see, let me try to find I think it was what was it called? Oh, Project Lydia. And there was 4 different bags displayed from Project Lydia. And Project Lydia is, I won't go into great detail because I'm not an expert on it, but basically it's kind of like I wouldn't say charity, but it basically gives jobs to people in underprivileged areas like India, and they hand make all of the bags and beads and interesting things, and so everything's really unique and nice, and it helps women who may not have the opportunity to work and provide for their family. So, of course, I had to stop there and get one of their bags because I just really like supporting things that kind of are not just companies, but they give back to people who may not have the same opportunities that we have here in America. So next up, I want to show you the one really cool thing that I saw in the fashion show, and then when I found out what it was, I was like, I need that. So I like to wear little shawls sometimes, but I have trouble keeping them put. Even with a shawl pin, sometimes I have trouble really getting them to stay like they should. Well, in the fashion show, they had this shawl, and it looked like it had a buckle, like kind of like a little belt buckle thing that was like on the front, and it held it perfectly. And then I said, well, that's really neat. Well, then I went to the marketplace, and I got one. And I think it's called Jewel Designs, jeweldesigns.com. Here's the picture here. And what's cool about them is, one, it's removable, so you can put it on multiple shawls. You're not stuck with just one like if you use buttons. But its construction is so neat. So it snaps open, so it'll be easy to take it on and off when you're wearing it. And then to put it on, it's just a series of little screws you unscrew and slip into the shawl. Now, you can see how cool that is. But, I mean, it'll kind of look like a little belt buckle. So if you wanted to wear it like on your side, or it's like kind of like on the side when you're holding something or anything, that would just be really fun. And I really like it. It was made of leather, and she had several colors and shapes and different things. And I just thought, well, you know, that is a really, really neat thing. And it just says, now on the directions, these are handmade in the USA by Jewel Designs. It says that for semi-permanent attachment, place a tiny drop of clear nail polish inside the threaded cylinder before screwing it in. This keeps the screw snug until unscrewed. So I guess that's if you're planning to just put it on one particular shawl, which that's good too, but I like that you can kind of change things up. So I wanted to show that with the fashion show, because when I saw that, I was like, wow. And I'll go ahead and show the cool bag that I got at Project Lydia. I needed a new summer bag, and I really don't like carrying anything too heavy, so that's awesome. Now this one says it's called Himalaya Handmade, and it's HimalayaClothing.com, and it says these are it's made in Nepal, and I got this at the Project Lydia booth. So it's not the exact ones that they showed in the fashion show, but it was still really, really cool. And I love the pockets. I love the shape. See if I can show the little label so you can see. So I really liked that. Next up, I'd like to show my bag that I got and the pin that I got to go with it. So as you've probably seen, because you've seen some of my giveaway talk in some of the other episodes, I love Erin Lane bags, and I have a bit of a collection here. Well, she had done some Doctor Who bags previously, which I didn't get, and she decided to update the fabric this year with the new Lady Doctor from Doctor Who. So of course I had to get one. So let me see if I can show the pattern on here. Well, I'll just hold it up really close so you can see how cute the Doctor Who sheeple is. And there she is. There's the new Doctor. So while I was there, let me grab it. Hold on. This is one benefit of having my podcast in the studio, is I'm able to grab anything I forgot, which is really awesome. But I want to show the little sheeple pen that I got to match that I stuck on another bag just so I could keep up with it. And some awesome person gave me a hello, my name is Ravelry pen while I was at Stitches as well. Now, this is the Stitches. Apparently they did like little triangle pins every year for the last few years, and this year was kind of completed the circle. But this is my first Stitches, so I really don't have the other pins, but I just wanted to show the one for this year that I got because it's really cool. It's got a little sheep, and It says Stitches United 2019. So I hope you can see it really well. That's another awesome thing with doing the podcast here is I'm much closer to my iPad, so I'll be able to show things nicely. So before I go into talking about all the rest of the awesome things that I got in my haul, I would like to talk first about the stitch marker swap. So if you had a pin and several different booths were giving out the pins that show that you were swapping, then people and vendors that were swapping stitch markers would swap stitch markers with you. And so I did a series of stitch markers. I did some science ones because I'm nerdy with my chemistry, and I did some of my periodic table stitch markers, and on the back I had written Stitches United 2019 on them, so it'd be like a little keepsake for my first stitches. So I really enjoyed swapping. And I got a whole bag of cool stitch markers. I just wanted to point out a few of them because they're so interesting. This one from Stunning String Fiber Company, they did one that just says, "I am stunning today." I'm like, that is a nice stitch marker to have. And I had so many different ones. Let's see. Oh, and then there was one company that their company has kind of a theme for Greek mythology. So their stitch markers were like Pegasuses and helmets and Greek mythology. And I was like, I love that. So, of course, I had to swap for that one. And there was just so many fun stitch markers. And what I enjoyed about the stitch marker swap is not only did it give me a chance to meet the vendors and kind of let them tell me a little something about what their specialty was, but it also gave me a chance to meet some of my Instagram followers and meet some new people that share the same interests as me. So I want to give a shout out to these chemistry teachers that I met that were totally into chemistry, same as me, and they gave me the prettiest stitch markers. So there was one. Look how pretty, and she made these. And then this one, it was a mother and daughter, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name exactly. I'm a terrible person, but I'm pretty sure that you followed me on Instagram. So when you watch this podcast, just correct me, text me down below and say, "Hey, my name is so and so." Because I want to keep in touch with you because you guys were so cool and I think we have a lot in common. So, let's see. What else do I want to talk about that I got right away? Oh, so if you've been watching my other two podcasts, you saw that I dyed the Rocket Starfire colorway this year with Sparkle. And I love that colorway. So, that was on fingering weight. And so I think I'm going to dye some more just for me. And I got some beads to match so that I can make a beaded shawl. So, and I have a really tiny crochet hook and I've done beading before, but they were selling this Clover ergonomic bead hook, which my little crochet hook is really tiny and hard to hold. And one thing she told me was that if you use this ergonomic one, then you can always see what the top of the crochet hook is. So for people like me whose eyesight isn't always the best, this is perfect. So I was glad I got to use this. And she was gilding lilies. And she had a beautiful selection of beading. And what was awesome about her was she said that she has this, if you have any other things, I got a lot of these beads, I love this color. But she said if you have any other projects and you just can't decide on a bead and you don't want to order until you're 100% sure, then you can send her a piece of your yarn and she'll pick out what she thinks is the best choice or choices and send you a photo and let you see it before you purchase. So that's awesome. I feel the same way about custom colors because it's sometimes hard to get a really great picture on the website. And so if somebody is really particular that they are wanting a certain color or they have a custom color they want, I will 100% send you a photo ahead of time of kind of what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'll dye a mini skein and show you and see if you like it, just to make sure that you're getting just what you want. Because that's one of the awesome things about dyeing yarn colors is you get what you want. You don't have to stick with the set things you see there. And that makes it much more powerful. So, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, so I had one slightly embarrassing moment when I was at Stitches. So, when I was getting ready to go to Stitches, I just threw my zipper packet with my needles, my little pack of chow goose, in my bag, and I didn't think anything of it. And the directions had just said to bring some worsted weight yarn in 2 colors for the class, and to bring a couple of needle sizes smaller than you would typically use with that size yarn to do the class. Well, when I got there, I usually use an 8 or a 7 for worsted weight, so I was like, well, I'll probably use a 6 then. Well, that would have been my small cords, and all of my small cords were on other projects at home. Awkward, because the market, when I took the class on Thursday afternoon before the marketplace preview, so I didn't have a chance to buy any more cords. So luckily we were just doing a little swatch, and I had the little tiny cord left, so I was able to use that. So word to the wise, if you're planning to do a knitting class and it said no homework, so you didn't really think about it and you just brought it, make sure to check your needle thing to see if you have enough cords. That was embarrassing. But I also want to show, before I got finished, is I chose Red Heart Marley Bird Chick Sheep for my 2 colors to do in my knitting class. And I just wanted to tell you, it's available at Joann's and redheart.com, of course. And I think they're selling it in Canada too, and maybe some Walmarts. So it is the squishiest, softest worsted weight, and there's 24 colors. It is so pretty. So if you want pretty colors, and it's reasonably priced and easy to get. So if you're looking for 2 colors, I used that color, and let me get out the other color, and a kind of a really pretty fuchsia color for my, dropping my yarn for my test swatches in the class. So that was really fun. So definitely the first thing I did when I went to the marketplace preview that night was I got some more cords, and I got them from the Fiber Lady. And so here's more cords. And so and they're all in the small size, which is what I typically knit in. So this will be, because it came with a ton of bigger cords, but I don't use those as much. So I got the 22-inch, the 30-inch, and the 50-inch. So I am well set now for plenty of room. I also got, because I love knitting socks, I've probably already mentioned this, on the 9-inch circulars, and I usually use like the size 1. I have size 2s as well, but I usually use size 1. Well, they had some size US 00, which is a little bit smaller than the 1. Actually, I think my other ones might be a 0, but either way, so I decided to get these, a pair of these, because I wanted to see if maybe I get a little bit thinner fabric on my socks, because my last socks I used a little bit, it was still sock yarn, finger weight, but it was a little bit puffier because I kind of wanted it to be more of a house sock. But for these, I wanted them to be able to fit in like my dress shoes or my smaller shoes, so I wanted it to be very thin sock. And because I cannot resist, I got some my first hedgehog fiber sock yarn. It was so pretty. This is in the sock bubble colorway, and of course I had to test it out on my new needles, so love it. Now, I know I promised to finish my baby blanket before I cast it on any other projects, and yes, I failed that goal, but I am going to finish my baby blanket. So don't worry, nephew that's coming this month. We're going to share the same birthday, and that is so awesome. And I promise you that, yes, you're coming in the summer, June 19th, when it's crazy hot, so you may not need a fluffy, thick blanket quite yet. So I'm thinking maybe I'll give it to your mom in the fall or Christmas when I finish, so that it'll be like a Christmas present and you'll be able to keep it. And I'm going to make it a little bigger so it'll be like a keepsake, not just a newborn. Another thing that I wanted to show, just because I could not resist it. So my son is from China and loves panda bears. And Hiya Hiya, it was a wholesale booth that sold Hiya Hiya. They were actually located here in Alabama. I think they're just online, but like I am, but they're located really close to me in Lacey Springs, which is a little town very close to where I am. So it was kind of cool to see them there. And they had these needle stoppers in small and large in panda bears. So I could not resist that. And while this particular needles are really tiny, I'm thinking I can use the small one and just put both needle tips in the inside one, and it should fit pretty good. I'm going to test that out right here. We're going to do a test and see if it works, because that's really the one project that I have trouble with my needles kind of popping off sometimes, and it's very easy to lose a little tiny sock stitch. So I was thinking, so here's the small version. Let's see if I can just we're going to try this live, see if my plan worked. We're going to put both needles in the stopper. It kind of works. It'll be fine. So that'll kind of hold my sock needles put when I'm throwing them in my little sock bag, because I tend to travel with a sock because that's the easiest portable project, and so I kind of just have a little bag that I throw in my purse, and I just want to make sure that it stays nice and neat. So I love that. What else did I get? Oh, I may have gone a little crazy. So at Stunning String Studios, the one with the stitch marker I mentioned earlier, I got 2 shawl pins. This really cool dangly moon one, which I thought would be fun for dressy things. And because I just got a kitty cat, I thought it would be fun to get a kitty cat accessory, so I got a kitty cat shaped. So I love that. And what else? What else have I? Oh, I didn't show you the other cool thing I got. So, I think it's Polly Studios. It's a husband and wife team. They make pottery. They make all their own things, and they have a lot of nerdy things. And so, like I showed you before, that I got purple Doctor Who bag, girl Doctor Who. So I got a coffee mug to match at Polly Studios, and it says, "Nevertheless, she regenerated." So it's my favorite things: girl power, Doctor Who, and purple to match my bag, because I love to match things. So I was very excited by that. Another thing that I wanted to show before I forget is, since this was Stitches United, they had some beautiful quilts on display. And you could buy for like $1, you could buy these raffles for 2 different quilts. And they're going to raffle them off sometime in the future. And one of them, they were explaining to me that the entire guild spent like a year or 2 each doing one square. And then they all put them together and made these beautiful quilts. And so I wanted to show the quilt because it's awesome. The Georgia celebrates quilts, and I think it's this weekend, which is also Knit in Public Day. But this weekend, it's called the Celebration Quilt, and they all worked on it together like a great project. So that was so neat. So of course I bought a raffle ticket. Fingers crossed that I win, because I would love that. I still have the quilt that my granny gave me when I was like 10 on my bed right now. It's my favorite. I love quilts, and I was so excited to sign up for that raffle. Okay, so as you can see, I have a ton of project bags, and I did not need any more project bags. But and I don't have the tag. Oh, that's a bummer. But anyway, so sorry for the booth that I did not get the tag for. But I was walking by, and the lady was like, "Stop," because I was wearing my Knit Periodically with a periodic table shirt, and she was like, "Stop, I have the bag for you." And she went, "Chemistry And I said, oh, that's nice. She goes, but wait till you see the inside. And then she showed me the periodic tables on the inside, and she was like, you've got to buy this. And I thought, I've got to buy this. So even though I told myself the Project Lydia bag, because I loved their mission, and then I'd already planned to get the Doctor Who, and that was the only bag I was going to get because I have a bag problem, I got this other bag. So shame on me for buying another bag, but it's awesome. And I apologize for not knowing the vendor's name because I was kind of in a, oh my gosh, I need that phase when I bought that, so I did not get that bag. So, oh my gosh, first let's stop talking about shopping for a minute and start talking about it's June already, and it is Knit in Public Day this weekend. So I encourage you guys, if you have a local yarn store, they're probably having some sort of event, and it's a big deal. Last year, I went to the Yarn Boutique of Decatur, which is close by my house, maybe about 20 minutes away. And it's a little town, it's across the river, and they had the cutest little yarn shop. Well, across the street, they have like this coffee shop place, and so they hosted an event there, and I went and knitted there with a bunch of ladies from there, and it was so fun. So I encourage anyone and everyone to get out and do Knit in Public Day. It was awesome. So let me think, is there anything else that I want to talk about? So this particular podcast, I'm not really talking much about what I'm knitting or what I'm dyeing or anything like that this week, because I really just wanted to talk about stitches and all the fun things I had. But before I go, I want to talk about who I got to meet and give a couple of shout outs. So I got to meet Marley Bird. That was awesome. I also got to meet Lindsay and Brittany from Erin Lane Bags in person, which I've talked to them a lot online, but I've never gotten to meet in person, so that was really cool. They were so nice. And then, as a bonus, because I totally didn't realize this was happening, I got to meet the Periscoping Sisters. Watching their podcast is one of the reasons that I started this podcast, because I'm like, they look like they're having so much fun. I want to do that too. So they were so awesome and so nice in person. So I just want to say, hi guys, I loved meeting you and swapping stitch markers with you. It was awesome. It made my day. So hi, Periscoping Sisters. Let's see. Oh, and then the even cooler thing was, while I was at Stitches, I got to, besides all the cool new friends I got to meet, I got to meet some of the people who follow me on Instagram. So I just wanted to give a shout out to a Southern Ladies Rambling, because I got to meet her in person. She actually was on her way out. She just came for the day, and I saw that she was there, and I sent her a message on Instagram and said, hey, stop, I want to say hi, and we swapped stitch markers. She gave me a lovely fleur-de-lis. And since my dad's family is from New Orleans, I love fleur-de-lis, so I love that, and I hope she liked her periodic table element thing too. And so I just wanted to say hi, and it was great to meet you in person. I love the fact that, you know, we get to meet all kinds of people from all over the place online and through Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, but it's still so nice to be able to see people in person. So hi everybody I got to meet in person. I hope I didn't totally freak you out, because I was so excited, especially the Periscoping Sisters and Marley Bird. I was so excited to meet you. I may have been kind of nerdy, but anyway, I hope I didn't freak you out, but I had so much fun meeting you. And I just want to say, if you ever get a chance to go to a Stitches, do so. And if you can't get to a Stitches event and there's something closer and local to you that's fun, do that. So we went to Stitches on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the Saturday before, my husband, who loves to take little day trips, he said, hey, I just saw online there's a Fiber Fest in Tennessee today in Dickinson, Tennessee. Do you want to go? It's called Middle Tennessee Fiber Fest. And I said, Fiber Fest? Yes, let's go. We can get some coffee, have some nice breakfast. Of course, I didn't know he had an ulterior motive. There's this awesome barbecue place close to there that he loves in Tennessee, and his whole plan was to go for a few minutes to the Fiber Fest and then stop at the barbecue place, which I enjoyed both, so it was fine with me. And so I got some yarn. Yes, I did buy yarn there. I know, guilty. And I got to meet some really cool people, And it was a really nice, it was at the fairgrounds, and it was just a really nice little event, and it was free to go into. So I also wanted to say that, if your budget may not allow, which mine hasn't allowed or ever till now, to be able to go to, or time allow me to go to a Stitches event, I was able to go to this one just in a short drive away, and it was free, and I got to go, and I really enjoyed it. Let me get the card. I think I still have it here. Let me grab this so you can see. Middle Tennessee fiber thing right there. So I think they have it every year, so I may try to go next year too. And one other thing I was going to say, what was it? I think that's everything, other than I just wanted to tell everyone that it was great to see you. Sorry it was a little longer than usual till I podcasted. I was going to podcast live from Stitches, but I was so overwhelmed and so excited with all the things I had to see that I didn't even want to take time to do any things. So I did take some pictures, and I'll put those at the end. And I want to say till next time, don't forget, it's okay to want to stay home and knit. See you next time.